HVLP air supply setup. Inside my garage I have 3 air compressors hooked to a manifold, a 6-horse 25-gallon and 2 of the Porter Cable pancake air compressors. There's about 40 feet of hose between the compressors and this. I just use that for general stuff, airing tires up, blowing things down. So I come down with my air supply. This is not hooked together here. I go into the bottom air tank. I come out the other side of the air tank into the top tank. These are both 30-gallon tanks. Then I come out of the top of it into an air dryer. So this is a pressure regulator, a lock and cap, and this has a float in the bottom of it, and it's a centrifugal air dryer with a 5-micron filter. So as the air comes through it, it spins it inside, slings water to the sides of this container, goes down to the bottom, and there's a float in here with a Schrader valve, sort of needle valve. When the float comes up, it'll open up and it will self-drain the water off. It actually works really good. Then, now I know they say you should have 25, 50 feet, no more than 50 feet between your hose and your gun, but hey, this is a DIY stuff and not all of us have this. So from here, got 3/8 air hose, and I'm going 100 feet with it. And before I go in there, I'll show you my breathing setup. Now, don't do this because you could get Legionnaire's disease. So, especially, seriously, do not breathe off some nasty old compressor. This is a new compressor. It's bone dry, and it'll put out just enough, well, actually more air than I need to breathe. But I got to make sure it's really dry because Legionella is in everything in nature, all the water and stuff. And if you're breathing off some nasty old compressor, you could get that, you get all kind of stuff. So they make things specifically for breathing. I know this ain't right. This is an oilless air compressor, so you definitely don't want to breathe off some oiled air compressor with old nasty water in it. So what I've got off of that, this black hose here, got an air water separator filter down to a regulator like you would, just an inline 1/4-inch regulator, and that's hooked up to a CPAP mask. Automotive paint's really nasty stuff. Don't want to breathe it. I've got a big beard, so I can't use a respirator. So you should use a respirator. Don't be using all this stuff I made. Anyway, so here's my air hose, of course, to the end. Now, as far as my setup for spraying, I'll show you how not to do things. But first off, they make plastic for automotive painting. And if you'll see, it says paint this side. Paint on regular Visqueen and stuff will just dust up on the surface, and then it'll fall off and you'll get it all in the air. This stuff attracts dust. You can see from me sanding and doing things in here how that works. So this is not working all that well, so I wanted to show you how not to do something. That's just a weight. So I put these 2 fans out here, put air filters on them, shut the barn door, but you can still see how it blew air out of there, recirculated it around. But what I wanted to do was a positive pressure enclosure to keep dust from the yard out, so it would inflate this in here. Now, if I shut the door, you'll start to see, you may not start to see it, yeah, you can start to see some of this will inflate. So I've got my filtered air coming in here, and then over on the back side of the garage I've got my outlet. So I need a little bit more filtered air coming in, have a little bit higher pressure, but this is to keep gnats and stuff out of the building. And it works okay. Painting was going really well until I bumped a regulator or a setting on my HVLP gun and had a big splatter of paint come out and got a run on the other side. Now I'm going to have to re-sand the whole thing. Anyway, I hope this gives somebody some ideas. I know it's not right, but it's a DIY setup and it does work. Post your comments below if they're positive. Haters gonna hate. I don't need negativity.